Booyah! And it's time for the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. It is your host, David McKaig, and I'm inside the On TV studios in Sioux Online on this beautiful Tuesday. And I'm here joined by my co-host, analyst, and friend, Alex Parr.
Oh, too kind, Dave, too kind. Good to be back. Missed a couple of the podcasts, but I wouldn't miss a show for the world.
Definitely one thing I didn't miss was that animation that I saw on the On TV and the Sioux Online Instagram page. That was the coolest thing ever.
Shout out Dan O'Brien. He did a quick little animation of me rotoscoping. It was really cool. If you get a chance to check it out, definitely do that.
It's identical. And your effects and your expressions and everything, perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Dan O'Brien, we love you, man.
We got an action-packed show as always. We got Connor Henderson coming on in part 2 of the show.
Yes, sir.
He's involved with the Black Sox, and here in part 1 and part 3, it's just going to be you and I. And we're going to be talking about some local stuff in Nike in part 1. Oof. And then in part 3, we're going to jump into some individualism and loyalty.
Ooh, big words.
What is that?
Today.
Big words. That almost took a while to get out.
That's okay.
So to jump right into it, I'm going to talk about the Sioux College Cougars men's hockey team. You can follow them at Sioux College Athletics on Instagram. Fantastic page. They had re-signed and signed and got committed to with some players, some former Thunderbirds as well. Some names you'll be familiar with: Tanner Main, Ryan Lawrence, Mitchell Devons-Can, Lucas Duckstein, Noah Sayer, Ryan Benjamin, of course, who's also been a guest on the show, as well as Ryan Lawrence has, Drew Gregory and Max Call, and Ryan Vennerman, big piece going back there. He was an MVP last year. They were a big part of the team winning the Division III National Championship. First Canadian team to do so.
That was their last season last year was astounding.
Yeah.
What did they win their last game? 10-2 or something to wrap up that AC Division III championship. That was crazy. To have Benjamin back too, he had like 4 times the points he played games. I don't know if that's a bit of an over-exaggeration, but that's sure what it felt like. That guy could not be stopped. They're moving up to the 2nd division this year, and if they want to keep winning, Benjamin's a great place to start.
And obviously, you know what, some people are going to doubt some of the games and some of the talent on that level. No, this athletic program had to start somewhere and build its way up, and it most certainly proved that it belonged in higher levels. Very excited to see what Sioux College is going to do this year in Division II. Now, the Sioux Thunderbirds, the next team we're going to get to, and you can follow them on Facebook at Sioux Thunderbirds. They have released a lot of information. I'm going to give a shout out to Anthony Miller with that, as he does a lot of the graphics work for them.
Oh,
and it's the overall staff. Fantastic, right?
Oh my
now,
goodness.
Will Josephson signed there with the Sioux Thunderbirds from Arizona.
Wow, what a reach for the Thunderbirds.
Big. He was involved in the U-under-18s there with the Arizona program.
Wow.
And Curtis Rogers also is with the squad again this year as well. And they've also had some other signings like Camden Finley and some guys who are rejoining the team. You could check that on their Facebook page. Preseason game, already talking preseason, August 29th at 12:30 against the Sioux Eagles, 12:30 p.m.
You can smell it, you can feel it. Hockey season's upon us, just inching closer, inching closer, inching closer. And I'm way too excited to see how Thunderbirds grabbed a guy from Arizona to see how he's going to translate over here. I know the ice size is the same and everything, but what a culture shift that's going to be. As far south as you can get to the States to as far south as you get in Canada. I'm, hoping the best for him.
It's going to be great. It's going to be good, exciting stuff for the Sioux Thunderbirds. Now, we're going to cover everything local here in Sioux, Ontario. After Labor Day, it's going to be amazing. All the coverage. We are covering everything local. Any team you think of, the Game Sports Show is there. But one thing I want to get to, because we're going to save extra time for Connor in part 2.
Yes, of course.
The Nike situation that's going on. Now, we talked about this yesterday on ESPN 1400, and just paying young athletes, trying to recruit the young athletes with, let's say, the business side of it, opposed to doing it the fair way. I kind of want to put it in simple terms. There's a lot of different articles. Nike is definitely in a lot of trouble because some text messages that were found involving athletes with Zion Williamson, some up-and-coming athletes to join that and be involved with some of the athletics in different colleges and paying them. That's a problem.
It's a big problem. I mean, if it was fair game to everybody, then it's fair game to everybody. But if Nike's just going to put on their corporate conglomerate hat and say, we're going to do whatever we want, what is that? I mean, shoes are huge for them. Signing deals. Like, I'm a bit of a sneakerhead myself, so you see when these players get signed, and they love to get signed. They got their own signature Jordan or whatever
their
it may
own
be.
shoes,
Super cool. You can obviously lure a guy who's just in high school, just starting to get the fame on a national level, and say, ooh, well, I want some shoes too.
And some money.
And some money. Like, these were 5-digit numbers too. They weren't throwing chump change at these guys.
No.
But Nike, come on. They said in one of the texts specifically they want to crush Adidas. What are you guys doing? Come on. Take your heads, pull it out where the sun don't shine, and get back to doing it fairly.
I couldn't agree more. Some of these schools that they're also involved with players going to these teams, like Zion going to Duke, there's a lot of speculation that Nike had him going to Duke. Like I'm sure Duke and these names have these big names already. Kentucky, Carolina, all these schools already have those names. They don't need Nike attached. They don't need Adidas. They're already the supremacy of college basketball. It's those bottom seed schools that are trying to get to be at the same compete level because they don't have the same budget that those schools have. Right. And you have Nike stepping in and saying, hey, here you go, here's 50 grand. Oh, wait, go to Duke. Now, I'm not saying that happened, but that's a rumor that's also saying that happened.
Yes.
The thing that's getting confirmed right now is just the sponsorship deals and the money side of things. But if Nike puts their foot in the recruitment as well, that's just even more unfair. So what's going on in sports, Alex, is this has been happening in all sports. This is not news. No. This is not news. This has been happening before you and I were born, before even our parents were born. It's just finally coming to fruition. And Nike's going to get the one that's going to get caught and get a little bit of trouble, if not a lot of trouble. Yeah,
technology's catching up to them. Text messages, emails, things like that, they get spilled out so easily. You got to be careful with what you're doing on your technology, but don't think Nike got that message soon enough.
We will definitely keep track on that here on the Game Sports Show. Very interesting stuff. And we're going to leave it at that, Alex, because Connor Henderson is anxiously waiting. He's been waiting to come on the show. Mm-hmm. We do fan guests. I do consider him a fan guest, but he's also really involved with the Black Sox, so not really anymore. I scratched him off the fan guest list. He's actually a representative here for the Black Sox. And he's going to be talking local baseball, men's league baseball, professional baseball, and you don't want to miss that here. We're going to take our break here on the Game Sports Show. Dave McKay, Alex Parr. Be right back with Connor Henderson joining us here on the Game. Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. It's your host, David McKay, and I'm here joined by the Bantam assistant coach and the PR representative of the Black Sox, and also teammate of yours truly in the Men's League Open Baseball League, Connor Henderson. Some know him as Thomas Ian Nicholas of Rookie of the Year. Some people may know that reference, may not. You can give that a quick Google. Connor, welcome to the show, and thanks for coming on, pal.
Thanks for having me, Dave. I really appreciate it.
See, you came on the show because you and I were playing baseball. And I didn't know your accolades as much in terms of baseball in Sault Ste. Marie. I knew some of our teammates, Trudeau and Ashley Hoff, who are really involved with the Black Sox. But yourself, you and I were talking in the dugout, and I said I was going to get you on the show, and here you are. I'm very happy you're able to join us. And you're coaching. Tell us a background about it. How many years have you been coaching? Have you been involved with the Black Sox?
So last year I met the head coach, Mark Caruso, and he was a great guy to be around. He really had a good team atmosphere when it came to his coaching staff, and he asked me this year to take a bigger role with the team. So I figured along with our PR moves and our representatives involved with Sault Minor Baseball that we would be able to take it to the next level this year. And I really liked to dedicate a lot of time learning about how to coach kids because there's a smaller age gap between me and the kids than there is with other coaches and the kids. So I felt like it was easy to be personal with them and take my assistant coaching role to the next level.
See, and you played baseball growing up, right, your whole life, and you're an outfielder, an infielder, a pitcher, but your experience, I bet you want to give back because you probably had such a great experience growing up, especially in the Black Sox program.
Yeah, I really did. And the great thing about it is that it gives people an opportunity, especially the players back at home, to put themselves in a more competitive environment and think about maybe even potentially playing college baseball if they can move through the system properly. So that's what we want to provide for the kids, is a competitive environment with a lot of fun, and I met some of my lifelong friends from that, and I hope that these kids do as well.
Absolutely. It's like any sport here in the Soo, in particular baseball, basketball, even hockey, anything. You meet your childhood friends and lifelong friends. And even though we've been teammates a couple of years, it feels like we've been friends for a long time too. So we're going to jump in to talk about your job as a coaching right now. You guys finished just slightly above 500 this year. Provincials are just around the corner. I'll let you talk about that.
Yes, so provincials this year are being hosted in Windsor, which is awesome. It's a short drive relative to other Northern Ontario communities. For us, North Bay, Thunder Bay, they have a longer haul, but it provides us with the opportunity to play very strong Southern Ontario teams, and it's a 12-team tournament that features a double elimination knockout tournament style. Essentially means survival of the fittest, the first team to lose the last team to lose 2 games is the victor, and it'll provide a good competition for our kids moving forward.
How's the atmosphere of the clubhouse, as they would say, going into the provincials? What is the excitement that's being just coursed through all the young guys that are getting ready for it?
Well, the great thing about our head coach, Mark Caruso, is that he really provides a nice competitive but balanced atmosphere for the kids. Kids are playing multiple positions. When I played, if you were an outfielder, you were an outfielder. But he's really worked on making sure that each kid can play multiple positions, which I feel like has really provided a fun spark to each and every game that we play in. So that's one thing that I've really appreciated.
Now, overall, the local development in baseball, and you and I were talking a little bit off air how it's like this for every sport, in Canada. Hockey aside, okay, you're talking basketball or baseball. If the Raptors are hot, the enrollment's going to be hot. If the Blue Jays are hot, the enrollment's going to be hot. And right now, obviously when things went into this year, maybe it was a bit better in previous years, but when the Blue Jays were in 2015, 2016, when Mount Crushmore was there, as we like to say on the show, but now all these young guys like Vlad Jr., Bo Bichette, Calvin Biggio, all these guys that are part of that team, it looks like Canada baseball looks promising for the future. And in particular, Sault Ste. Marie, what is your perspective about the development and how it's looking overall in the Sioux?
Well, you nailed it, Dave. Essentially, when the Jays do well, our programs do well. Like you said, enrollment really spiked when Jose Bautista and the famous home run in the playoffs.
Bat flip, baby.
The bat flip.
Yeah, I'm sure you remember where you were when that bat flip happened.
Yeah, Markham Mall Pharmacy. I was.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. But the greatest thing about it is with these new and up-and-coming stars, it really provides an outlet for kids to look up to young and promising Jays players and maybe one day think that or prove that they can do the same. So it's really positive moving forward for us.
It's role models, right? You look at it, you're like, I want to be that guy that does what Bautista did doing that bat flip. Or I talked about this on the radio portion of the show that through our ESPN partner, and also that you can hear on thegamesportshow.com, that I mentioned that you want to be in that backyard. You're playing that hypothetical moment when you're shooting that puck into the net or shooting that three in your backyard, or maybe you're playing catch with your dad and you're telling your dad to get down and you're throwing pitches and you strike out the guy. Or if your dad's pitching to you and you hit a home run in your backyard and break a window, you're going through this saying, that was the hit that got me the World Series. And then you know what, when you guys like Vlad Jr. and you guys like Bo Bichette, you are a corner point of these kids that are coming up in Canada.
That's very true, and that's why it makes this rebuild so exciting moving forward for the Jays, regardless of some of the problems I personally have with it.
See, we'll get that in a sec. I got one question I'm going to ask you for the provincials and anything kind of Black Sox news. Where can people find the information? I know they can reach out to you on social media. That's the life of social media now. You can just get a hold of people. But the contact information, who is the main point of contact to be involved, or if you want to go watch a game for the Black Sox, where can people access that schedule?
So in terms of watching locally, it's all located at Sinclair Yards. I'm sure everyone knows where that would be, right near Strathclair, for local Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario residents. In terms of PR and where we can find information online, at Sioux Online, Alex Parr is hooked up with myself, and we've worked on getting information out to the public on all of our rep program teams, also at Sioux Sports, and at my handle at henders9 at windsor.ca, uwindsor.ca. You can contact me if you have any questions or information about the Black Sox or Sioux Minor baseball in general that you'd like to get answered.
Definitely. Now, if you're a hockey player, it doesn't matter. Go play baseball. Go play another sport in the summer. Get active. I promote all the sports here in Sioux, Ontario. Being a part of the Black Sox is definitely a great program to be part of. And let me tell you, the Sioux Black Sox will keep getting better and better, especially with you at the helm, my friend. Now, this will transition us into two teams that we're going to talk about, the Jays and the Tigers. I'm going to allow you to talk about this in terms of the Tigers a lot more because you are a Tigers fan. And me taking my host hat off for 1 second, I am a Blue Jays fan, of course. So I want to go with the Blue Jays, though, first, before we talk Tigers. We did touch on it a little bit, how if their rebuild's this exciting, continues to be, the enrollment's going to go higher. But in terms of actually being a fan of watching, what do you think of the Blue Jays in general?
In general, it's fantastic. Fundamentally, these players are exciting to watch and just a joy to see every single time you turn on the game. The issue is, as with many sports I'm sure you're aware of, good players can often mask poor management. And the problem that we've seen, and you've touched upon on prior broadcasts, is that when it comes to the management between Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro, we haven't really seen the foundational dominance that Alex Anthopoulos was bringing to the table. We've even heard them state that the fans were the reason they didn't start the rebuild sooner, which was hard for many people to swallow, knowing that this might have sent us back 2 full seasons in our rebuild here in Toronto.
See, now all these players, we have contract control of all these young players that are there, which is exciting. And I say we, like we're a part of the Blue Jays management, but I'm sure everyone knows what I'm saying by that. But we have a good nucleus of guys. Now, if we can get that A-level pitching, like I heard through some social media today and some comments through Tim and Sid and everything of such, giving them a little plug, that there was an analyst on there saying that if the Blue Jays had A-level pitching, they potentially would be a playoff team this year, potentially. And it definitely into next year that they would be for sure. And I don't know if that is true, but pitching and bullpen has always been the Achilles heel to the team. But we're going to go with the Tigers because we're going to run low on time. I'm going to let you have the floor here and give your analysis. Scott Nason, one of the co-hosts in the United States of the Game Sports Show. Big Tigers fans. We have a big Tiger following. I'm giving you the floor, my friend, with the Tigers. I'm going to rebound off you.
All right, so when it comes to the Tigers, I'm not sure if many Tigers fans would consider this exciting, but Al Avila was recently re-signed, the general manager of the program. And when it comes to Al Avila's tenure with the team, many people have thought that it's been much more conservative than the Dave Dombrowski swing for the fences general manager style that they had previously. Dave Dombrowski, who is now World Series champion winner with the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah. So everyone goes to get the rings.
Of course. And yet here in Detroit, we're still longing for one since 1984. And essentially, moving forward, we do have one fundamental strong point for our team, and that's our pitching in the farm system. Between Casey Mize, Matt Manning, Alex Faedo, Bo Burrows, the list goes on and on and on. We've got some top-tier pitching talent that we can look forward to seeing in the future, but fundamentally, it's some very rough games ahead and rough waters for Gardenhire and the team to look forward to.
I was excited when Gardenhire got hired. I think that was a good thing for the Tigers. I was a fan when he was a manager of the Twins. He was one of the top managers in the league. I think that's a good person to have at the helm. And the big question that I am waiting to, it doesn't get released, but Miguel Cabrera, when will he be traded? Will he be traded? And that'll be our last talk quickly before we go to our break.
Essentially, I don't think you can move that contract.
A lot of money.
But I love him. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer without question. The thing is, the late Mike Ilitch did offer him probably more than market value, and we're going to be paying for that for years to come.
Miguel Cabrera, will he get traded? We'll see. I think one day he will. I think one day, to expedite a rebuild, you got to trade that type of talent. Connor / Thomas E. and Nicholas had to do that. I want to say thank you for coming on the show, and we hope to have you on again soon, especially on the radio side, my friend.
I really appreciate it, Dave.
Absolutely. Listen to the Game Sports Show, the Twin Two's only local regional natural sports show. Dave McKeag, we're going to have part 3 right after these messages. Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Dave McKeag, rejoined by the one and only Alex Parr, looking sharp as always, Alex.
Goodness, Dave.
How was your quick break?
Quick break, feeling refreshed,
Feeling
ready
fresh?
to get back in here. Honestly, a pleasure to have Connor come in. Great guy, I know him.
Yes.
When you guys read the Sioux Online articles about how the Black Sox are doing, he's the one writing them. He's sending them over to us, and we're posting them up on the website. So Connor, keep doing what you're doing, man. I love your stuff.
Maybe he could do some baseball analyst work on the Game Sports Show. Maybe that's just a little bit of a teaser.
Yeah, I see the cogs in motion. They're turning. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to leave it at that, though, because we have a lot of surprises coming up here on the Game Sports Show. I'm sorry to say that word, but it's a big year coming for the show.
Big.
Very excited, bringing all that. But speaking of big, sort of, legacy and individualism.
Okay. The big words we used earlier today.
Big words, that's how we can connect that.
Okay.
Now, people are wondering what this topic is. We've had some interesting topics last few weeks. Parents, with Craig Hartsburg, parents being too pushy, too much in the stands. Arenas. We've had a lot of discussion on these unique discussions. So we're going to bring one more to the table. Okay, and it's going to be perfect because this is part 3 before we go on vacation.
Right.
So we're going to be back after Labor Day with that. So why not leave it and get it in hot with legacy and individualism and loyalty in sports, okay? So what this is quickly is that are you for somebody who's going to stay with an organization and remain with that organization and doesn't matter about winning championships? Or maybe it doesn't even matter about having that main individual success. That is the loyalty factor. Individualism, do you want to be self-absorbed and just be the best at what you are in that sport? Or legacy? Do you want to have multiple championships, win multiple individual awards? Or does legacy go with all three? And I'm going to go to you first. It's a unique topic, kind of a confusing topic, and go into a million different avenues. Answer it the way you will, Alex.
Okay. I think a lot of this could be summed up with the Jordan-LeBron comparisons. I think it can be. I know Jordan stuck with the Bulls for the majority of his career, except for with the Wizards at the end there. And he proved he is the best winner in NBA history. But what I think LeBron has done, he's won with some pretty bad teams. The first Cleveland team that he won with, if you read those starting lineup of players, oof, he had not much to work with.
It was just him, and then they go to the finals, and they didn't end up getting the win. Then he moves to Miami, didn't win the first time, then he wins in Miami, goes back to Cleveland. Kyrie and Love were there. Kyrie was at a good side, but LeBron took over that playoffs.
Right.
And he got the legacy there in Cleveland, got them a championship.
And he is a great individual. One of, if not, is so hard for me to say not the best basketball player of all time.
Jordan still is. Defensive award.
Right, but Jordan's, I think, is the better winner. He stayed true to his roots and won with no matter who he was given to play with him, and he kept winning and proved he could do it. LeBron, great individual basketball player. I would love to say the best, but it's so hard to do. But LeBron won having a few more pieces on each stop of the road. I feel like he had pieces to play with in Cleveland. He obviously had pieces to play with in Miami. That's when super teams started to form in the NBA. And now with the Lakers, where he's trying to make something. I think what he's doing now with the Lakers is trying to instill that legacy, where he's saying, hey, look, I can do it too. I can take a team from nothing to something. Hasn't had so much luck so far. But when it comes down to a player's legacy, I think more people speak highly of Jordan and the things he's done than compared to LeBron, and I think it does break down a lot to Jordan sticking with the team for the majority of his career.
See, I want to go to this side. I'm going to the hockey side. Okay, and I got two comparisons, two of the same type of players, if you want to speak of loyalty and legacy in the same sense. I think legacy and loyalty is what's important. Individualism is the one that I wouldn't care about. Don't get me wrong. If I was one of the best hockey players in the world, like Connor McDavid is today, or Sidney Crosby, you like that accolade beside your name. But don't get me wrong. I don't think Connor McDavid wants championships or to be around teammates that can actually put the puck in the net. I like to go back to Gretzky in the 80s, but when he came in with the Oilers. He came up with a team, and he immediately had that impact in the National Hockey League. He built the players around him. Yari Curry. Mark Messier obviously was a great talent as well. Paul Coffey, Grant Fuhr. But Gretzky has made his team better. And Yari Curry, he gave him the puck all the time. He made the players around him better, which then he won individual championships, or individual titles, and awards. He won Stanley Cups. He dethroned the Islanders after they were a dynasty in the 80s. And then, all in all, after that, it shows your loyalty to that organization. He didn't request a trade out of there. The Oilers traded Gretzky out of there. He wanted to stay there. Then the next point is Sidney Crosby. He went to Pittsburgh. Lemieux was his, like to say, his father figure in the National Hockey League. He roomed and board with him and everything of such with that. And he built the team. He had Malkin, but they all grew together, and Crosby was the main point of that. He made players around him better. Chris Kunitz was revived his career because of him.
Chris Kunitz was on the men's national team at the Olympics.
He was, but would he have been that if he played with Crosby?
Never. No chance.
Definitely not. So Crosby got his level to that state. Not saying Kunitz wasn't deserving to be there, but overall, those 3 points of legacy, individualism, and loyalty, legacy and loyalty are the two most important factors. Like I was saying in the part with Connor, when I was a kid, I was shooting the puck in the backyard, and I was pretending I was David McCaig, and I was getting a pass from, at that time, it was Matt Sundin, or Gary Roberts, or Vinny LeCavier was my favorite hockey player, but it was Gary Roberts at the time, and I won the Stanley Cup. Gary Roberts had been like 55 years old at that time. But like,
who's counting?
But like, you have that moment where you want to win the cup, and you get that winner. That shows, then that's where that combines all three, and you have a legacy after that. That's why it's it's such a big point. Like, if you get that game winner, your legacy is already built because you got the winner for the Stanley Cup. But all in all, you got to say the most important factors in the game are loyalty and legacy, because if you could stay with the city and do what Stevie Y did in Detroit, who were not a good team, he was a big point of that team as well. I mean, there's a lot of hockey points here because I think hockey players are a bit more loyal than other players in sports. I'm not going to go into too many names there, but in terms of loyalty, they definitely have that. And legacy, having that tarnished wouldn't be an issue. Loyalty and legacy together being tarnished would be the issue. Individualism is not a problem. It's not a big thing. You want to be the best at what you are, but that ultimately doesn't matter.
But loyalty can sometimes get in the way. You said the name Matt Sundin. One of the best players of all time to never win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
All because he wanted to stay loyal. He tried making that
Charles Barkley too.
Just like Charles Barkley. And these are the things that kind of linger in a player's head where they say, well, you know what? I was Dave McKeag in my backyard shooting pucks, shooting baskets, saying, I won the Stanley Cup, I won the NBA championship. But I look around and I don't have the players to do that. I've been here for a long time and they haven't really done anything for me. Do I just stay because I owe it to the people in the stands? Who do I owe it to? If my management isn't getting me the necessary pieces, what's to say a player's got to stay somewhere?
I like that. And Alex, I'm going to leave it at that.
Ooh.
Listeners, I want you to leave your comments below on this topic of what you think here on the individualism, legacy, and loyalty. Alex,
Dave?
we are on vacation after the show.
Woo!
We are back after Labor Day, but we will have shows airing throughout the summer, or throughout the last couple weeks here of August. Last couple weeks of August until after Labor Day. We'll have a couple shows in there just so you don't miss and you get a full recap of the shows this summer here. As this was the 10th episode, our 11th episode will be after Labor Day. The week after Labor Day.
I'll be there.
And we'll be at 1 hour shows at that time.
Woo!
Oh, lots going on here for the show. Make sure you follow us on social media at The Game Sports Show or check out our website, thegamesportshow.com. On behalf of On TV, Sue Online, Alex Parr, and myself, this has been the Twin Sault's only local regional national sports show. Have a great rest of your August, and we'll see you after Labor Day. Booyah.